Hi, I'm Matt Stache, and the other day I was browsing the internet and I saw an advertisement for a brand new, very interesting looking synthesizer on Sweetwater.com. Not a sponsor. And as a result, I got a really bad case of gas. For you non-musicians out there, gas is gear acquisition syndrome. It's where you just feel compelled to purchase a new piece of equipment because, of course, you need to. As a result, I have here the ASM Hydrasynth, which is from Ashun Sound Machines, which is what ASM stands for. Not a sponsor yet. It is effectively, I describe it as an analog modeling synthesizer. It's got 8 voices, 3 oscillators, 2 filters, a bunch of weird stuff that can really mutate the sound. In fact, that's the term they use for it. And it's all fairly intuitive, surprisingly. Even though this looks pretty complicated, the presets are fantastic. It's a very buzzy, warm, gritty, spacey synthesizer. And despite being a buzzy, warm, gritty, spacey synthesizer, it actually has a couple of interesting programs on it that are like piano, electric piano, and organ that you can tell are, modeled synthesizer sounds and not like wavetable sounds. But really, really well done. I think the Hammond organ even really kind of sounds like a gritty Hammond with a little bit of a kind of strange synthetic twist to it. I'm going to jump right in and show you some of the stuff it does. The first program I've chosen is the Ultra Pad PS. It's the second program. I'm just going to run through like the first few just to give you a sort of unboxing overview of what I've found. This is not at all a comprehensive demo. Feel free to look up the actual demos. This is just for my fans to entertain you and show you my new toy, as well as people who might stumble across this and get interested in me as a result of having previously been interested in the Hydrasynth. So, the thing about this is it has polyphonic aftertouch. The aftertouch is assignable. In fact, a lot of the stuff is assignable. This is a ribbon controller, it's assignable. Going back to polyphonic aftertouch. Aftertouch in most synthesizers, if you press down one key and give it a little aftertouch, it affects the sound for all the keys that are being held down. In this case, with the Hydrasynth, it'll actually affect only the note you're holding down, or whatever, it'll affect only the notes that you're giving aftertouch to, and not all of the notes that you're holding down. Aftertouch to just the high note or just the low note or a couple of the notes in the middle, and that's assignable. I believe it's set right now for filter. Okay, a couple other cool things this thing does. It does have a ribbon controller. I'm going to mention it again, but I'll come back to that. I'm really excited about the ribbon controller. I'm going to use, this one. Okay, Venus Pluck, it is the second one. And it's a really rich, plucky sound. It's that's the Venus Pluck, and it's the third program on the ASM Hydrasynth, and I really like that. I'm going to use that for, as you could tell, the turnaround with Roman candles when I play with them. I'll show you how easy this is to use. I figured it out without reading the instructions, because of course I'm not going to read the instructions. Eventually I'll get frustrated and watch a tutorial on YouTube or something like that, but so far all the things I've needed to find have been pretty intuitive. And this is actually a polyphonic pad right here. And I thought, wow, it's really nice. I'd like to make that into a lead, but it doesn't really feel right for a lead as a polyphonic instrument. So let's go ahead and make that mono. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to voice. I tap the voice button right there, and this screen right here, whenever you tap one of these orange buttons, it will populate with the 4 controls that you can control from the master control panel. You can page down through, so if there's more than 4, you can see the other ones. In this case, the first one is polyphony. I'm going to switch that to mono. But I want it to glide a bit, so I'm going to tap the glide button. That turns on glide, and that populates some additional things in the voice category. You can see glide time and glide on and off. So I'm going to set the glide time for just about 10 because that's what feels right to me. A little bit longer glide time. How about 16? That one for winter rain when I play with Roman candles. The next thing I have for you is a really lush pad. The Hydrasynth is really good with lush pads. Again, it has 8 voices, so it does have the capability of having some really complex, really moving, sweeping, interesting pads. And this one has an interesting functionality. What's interesting about this specific program, which is called Twilight ET, is that it has the ribbon controller set for theremin mode. Best I can tell, the ribbon has 3 different settings that I've explored: pitch bend, modulation, and theremin. For pitch bend, any note that you're holding down, you can bend it across the ribbon. So you have to be holding down the note and then you can slide the ribbon. For modulation, you're holding down a chord, you're holding down a note, and you can use this to slide the amount of modulation. But in theremin mode, it lets you play a note by itself. There's a quantized setting and a non-quantized setting, quantized on and off really, so that you can have it completely sliding from one note to the other, or you can have it chromatically stepping in half steps. So this means that I can hold down That is just a few of the neat things that I've been fiddling with the Hydrasynth. Of course, you have your filter controls. The filter does have a drive and morph setting, which is really neat. I only recently discovered filters with drive built in, and it can make it really gritty. There's a noise oscillator in there. You can mix that into the second oscillator, and that can give you a little extra whoosh to the sound or a little extra grit to the sound. There's a ring modulator. There's additional after effects like delay and reverb, as you can tell. And it's actually really intuitive. I saw this module select thing in one of the demo videos, and I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to learn how to do that. So this looks really complicated. I'm just going to use all the presets. And all the presets are fantastic. I could probably get away with just using presets for most of the music that I'm playing with Roman candles or feeling ecstatic, or even by myself. But it has proven to be surprisingly intuitive despite being very complex. It does have an arpeggiator built in. It's got octave up and down. It's got a chord setting, which I haven't even messed with slightly. And it does have an option to save favorites because it shows up with, 300 presets to cycle through and play with. And then it has presumably some amount of user memory for you to create your own presets. And it has a favorites section so you can line up those presets and get to them quickly if you're playing a show and you need to switch really quickly between one preset and the other. That's all I really have to say. This is a fantastic synthesizer. The chassis is all metal, and the knobs are really substantial. They feel good. This jog knob that goes from one program to another feels real good. It has a little gentle metallic click to it, and all of the rotary controllers have a nice, smooth, really resistant rotation to them. They feel really, really solid. The whole thing is just a really solidly built synthesizer, and it sounds good. This is a really rich, lush sound, and I am really, really quite happy with this purchase. I thought, oh man, I spent a bunch of money. I shouldn't have gone and bought another synthesizer. I don't need another synthesizer. Of course I don't. Yes, I do. This one was actually a wonderful, I'm really, really happy about this. Can't wait to play this live with Roman candles up in Charlotte when we get a chance, when this pandemic is over. In the meanwhile, you might hear me noodling on it on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Matt Stache. Thanks for joining me today as I test out the ASM Hydrasynth from Ashun Sound Machines. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'd like to also thank Sweetwater for that quick, fast, free shipping. The Hydrasynth arrived 2 days early. They predicted it would arrive on Tuesday, and in fact, it arrived on Sunday morning, day after a holiday, right? So that's really good shipping, really good service I get from Sweetwater. Not a sponsor, either of them, but feel free to hit me up if you want to talk sponsorship stuff. Anyways, I'm Matt Stache. You can find me on Facebook, Matt Stache Music. The title of the page is Matt Stache Entertainment. And find me on Instagram, at Matt Stache Band, and YouTube as well, Matt Stache Band, MattStacheband, Matt Stache Band, and of course always at www.mattstache.com.